Are you looking for a quick, easy, affordable meal you can make in about 30 minutes or less? Well, look no further and make this. To start, we're gonna have to do some prep. Grab your cutting board and a knife. Grab your onion, garlic, grab your bell peppers. I like 3 different colors, just for looks. Start by dicing your onion. Here we're gonna chop our peppers into a little bit bigger pieces, not as small as our onion. So I'm just gonna cut this up, let's say like that. And pieces approximately that size. If you don't want to go through the trouble of cutting all your peppers like this, just go to the store and buy your frozen peppers and onions and use that. Whatever's quicker and easier for you during a busy weeknight. In an attempt to pack this with some more nutrients, we're also going to be using some baby spinach and arugula. Don't like arugula, use just spinach. Don't like spinach, then don't add it. And all I'm doing is just giving this a rough chop. And we're going to be using 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes and 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce. In this recipe, we're using 1 pound of ground beef. Here I'm using 93.7 to make it a little less calories. If you want it to taste even better, use 85-15, 80-20, whatever you want. Or use ground turkey, ground chicken, or don't use meat at all. Now to a pot over medium heat, we're going to add just a drizzle of olive oil and our ground beef. And we're also going to add our onions. And we're just going to break up our ground beef with our wooden spatula here. And we're going to cook this down until that ground beef has got some color on it and the onions are nice and translucent. And to our mixture here, we're going to add some salt, pepper, and some good old garlic powder. I'm also going to add a shake of some crushed red pepper here. Now when our beef and onions have cooked down a little bit and our onions are looking translucent, it's time to add our garlic. We want to cook this garlic for about a minute or so until we can smell it. It's going to start getting fragrant. Oh, this smells good. Now at this point, we can go ahead and add our bell peppers, and we're just going to cook them down for a couple minutes just so it gets a little softened, gets a head start. So at this point, our peppers have been cooking down for about 3 minutes. They're just getting a little soft. They look great. We're going to add our 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and we're going to add our 2 cans, 16 ounces total of our tomato sauce. We're also going to add 2 cups of broth. Here I'm using Better Than Bouillon chicken. You can use chicken, beef, whatever flavor you like, vegetable. We're also going to add our Italian seasoning. We're going in with 2 teaspoons. If you don't have Italian seasoning, you can supplement with anything. You can use oregano, parsley, basil, whatever mix of them. You can use fresh herbs. You don't have to use dried. Now we're going to turn up the heat and we're going to bring this to a boil. Then we're going to drop it down to a simmer and throw on the lid for about 15 minutes and let this cook down. Now that this is bubbling, let's give it a stir. Let's drop the heat and let's throw the lid on. And we'll let that go for about 15 minutes. It has been 15 minutes for me and a couple seconds for you. So let's go ahead and see what we've got going on here. This is looking really good. So our peppers are getting softened. That's what we're looking for. And it's time to add our rice. So we are almost done here. I'm going to throw in 3/4 cup of rice and stir that in. We're going to leave the temperature down where it's at. We're going to throw our lid back on for another 15 minutes. Your rice might try to stick to the bottom, so you can just go in and give it a little bit of a scrape. If your temperature is a little high, just turn it down a little. So another 15 minutes has passed, and we can go ahead and cut the heat. With our heat off, we're just going to let the residual heat wilt down our spinach and arugula here. So I'm going to throw in a handful or so, and we'll just stir this up. Next handful. That's pretty good. I'm just going to go in with a little more salt and pepper. So I'm going to make myself a bowl here. And I like to top this off with some mozzarella cheese, just like a stuffed pepper, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and some red pepper flakes. See that cheese is starting to melt, and let's go in for the final taste test. hot. Tastes exactly like a stuffed pepper. Easy to eat because it's in a bowl. You don't have to worry about cutting through it. You know how sometimes you eat a stuffed pepper and you cut it and pepper falls away from the filling and then you're eating it separately? This is kind of nice that it's all together. The peppers are nice and tender. They're not super soft. They're not hard. They got a little bit of a bite to them. We're getting extra nutrition from the spinach and arugula. Honestly, you don't really taste it, but it's kind of nice that it's got a little bit of texture, a little bit of mozzarella and Parmesan and the red pepper flakes. Really good. The cool thing about this recipe is you can totally switch it up. Instead of using ground beef, you can use ground turkey, you can use ground chicken. You could swap the meat for something else. You could add beans. You could, instead of peppers, you could do broccoli and cauliflower. Instead of the rice, you could do rice cauliflower. You can really customize it how you want. I have made this recipe many times before. It freezes really well. So if you want to make this for meal prep, make it on a Sunday, eat it throughout the week. This easily makes, 4 huge meals. I'll probably get 5 or 6 meals out of this. I'll also put the calorie breakdown over here for you so you can kind of see it's pretty healthy. It's got a lot of nutrients and relatively low calorie. So I'm calling this a stuffed pepper stew or a stuffed pepper chili, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty delicious. It's great for meal prep. As you can see, I actually ended up getting 6 meals out of it. So I've got 5 that are going to go in the fridge here, and then I've got 1 in my belly. If you want to see more quick, easy, and meal prep friendly recipes, let me know in the comments below and I'll make them. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time. Unfortunately, she doesn't get to taste any of this time, but next time we have something she can eat, we'll make sure she gets some.